listening to Cain, Randy, and Brooke on Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You made it back for another week, and we're so glad that you did. I'm kind of shocked you guys are back. I mean, last week, I kind of got left behind the wheel. Behind the wheel of Dad's car. I got to sit in the captain's chair for a moment and run the ship on my own. I felt like with Dustin, I did pretty good of not getting too wild or anything, but it's always weird not having Uncle Randy and my sidekick Brooke. But now, everybody, we have the band back. The band is back together. It feels so great to have them here. I'm looking at them right now, and I'm going to bring them on here in a second. I do want to talk to you guys. I noticed that I notice every year it's almost like a shock to me, and I don't know why it happens every year around the same time. But I kind of stumbled upon the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I don't want to dive into it too far because I don't think that everyone on the show today has watched it. But I do want to say it was a fantastic induction ceremony. It was amazing. I really loved all of the people that they brought in this year. So I'm sure we'll have another episode where we kind of dive into that. But we did have something major, very much like that, but here in Nebraska. So the Nebraska Performing Arts Hall of Fame happened this last weekend, and there were some heavy hitters for sure in that one. I mean, there was I mean, Les from Lefty's Records alone. I mean, I just love that guy. He's such a legend. I'm so glad. Rod Nerve, the Rockin' Fossils, Jeff Runnings, and Four Against. This is just to name a few. Everybody. I mean, it was monstrous. And when we bring our guests on, we're going to talk to him about it because this guy, he was on the show a couple weeks ago, and I felt like we shortchanged him. I felt like he just does so much in music. He is the hustler man himself, the pusher man of all good things. Not like me, not like I got the Wu-Tang shirt on. I'm gonna go out and knock a guy down, for $5. Not this guy. But we'll but we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's shake these two down here now that I have them on the show, and we'll get into this a little more. So we have the Godzilla of entertainment, everybody. He's back. He knocked down Mount Rushmore. He went over and I think he went to the Eiffel Tower and he put a big dent in that. And now he's back and he is ready to roll. Let's talk to him right now. Mr. Chill, welcome back.
Well, first I have to tell you, I'm pretty glad to be back because I was pretty much on the underground for about the last 10 days. So it's nice to see daylight again.
Yeah. You were on radio silence and just kind of laying low. But it's great to have you here, man. Every day and every episode that I get a chance to, be able to call you my friend and be able to host a show with you, to me is a good day. So I'm just glad you're back, bud.
Well, I appreciate the follow-up phone calls, and of course I thoroughly enjoyed the last episode with Dustin, and you did a great job. I'm a big Dirt Fed guy, and all those guys, having that opportunity to talk to all those guys and hear their different sides of the story. And I'm just so proud of those guys for going through what I call hell and back, and they're still doing awesome. And so it's sad that I couldn't be on that episode, but it was great to hear his story and see how great he's doing right now. And I think you did a great job. So thanks for holding up the ship, and let's get Brooke on here.
Let's get Brooke on here. Brooke, don't tell my mom this, everybody, but my mom is one of my favorite ladies. But Brooke, depending on how mean she's being to me in a day, now my mom's great. Brooke kind of like moves up and down the ladder with this. So Brooke is one of my favorite people, and I'm so glad to have her back on. The red-lipped lady, everybody, the witchy woman. Brooke, welcome back.
Thank you so much. And I love your mom too. She's like our number one fan. If it wasn't for her, like, come on now. Well, shout out to mama. We love her. And I'm so glad that, Randy, that you're back. I hope you got all those wonderful good vibes and the phone calls. And we thought about you a lot. We talked about you a lot. I think even sang a few songs for you. Karaoke
Well,
wasn't even
well,
going
my
on.
my my mom made me soup, so
Oh,
shout out to all the great moms out there. So thanks, Mom.
yes. Go moms. Thank you, mamas. I'm so glad you're back and feeling better. And Kane, thanks for being the captain. That you did a great job on that last episode. And I was so sad we couldn't be there. But yeah, we're here and we're back and we have a great guest and I can't wait to talk to him.
We do have a great guest, and we are going to bring him on. But since I did mention the Nebraska Performing Arts Hall of Fame, we do have a musician that I want to mention just real quick. His name's Kim Fossil. A lot of you guys out there, I know there's many musicians and fans that listen. You guys know that he was, Kim from the Rockin' Fossils and all in Raw Nerve and these bands, and he was a guitar player. And he's still here, but he had a stroke last year, and he is in a bad way. Everybody, he's he's not working. He's not getting any disability or Social Security. He can't play like he used to. I don't think he got to perform or anything because he's lost like function in his arm and different things, and he's just in a bad way. So I want to point out before we bring our guest on, he does have a GoFundMe out there, and I'll share it on our pages and everything. But I really want you guys to help him get to his goal. I think they're at like 6,000. They're trying to get to 10,000. They're just trying to float to survive, everybody. I know that when I had my heart issues and I had to retire from playing live all the time, if it wasn't for family and friends helping me out, I would have never made it. I was the Titanic literally sinking. And if it wasn't for everybody and their support, and all of you guys are such great support out there, I wouldn't have made it. So please do that for him. He's such a fantastic musician and person. I've got the honor of talking to him for now a couple of months. He's been reaching out to me on Messenger, and he and I have just maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. He'll send me like sets from like the early 2000s, all sorts of stuff. And it's just so cool to listen to all of that, and I'm honored that he wants to share all that stuff with me. And it's strange. It's almost like he wants me to tell his story a little bit. So please donate to that. Now, everybody, let's get to the meat and cheese and bones of this episode. Let's get to why we just had him on. He was on the Keenan Eats episode. He is a monster in the Nebraska music scene. I'm talking Godzilla level. Randy and him might have to clash and battle it out someday, but he is in the Bottle Tops. He's in Mike Semrad and the Riverhawks. He is the man, the myth himself, Mike Semrad, everybody. Mike, how are you?
What's up, everybody? Hey, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Red Lips Lady. I love that. You got to keep all these little nicknames you got for each other. They're cracking me up.
Well, we got the Candy and Rain. I accidentally say that all the time. So yeah,
Candy and Rain. That's brilliant. Oh my goodness.
None of my nicknames really have a good ring to it. Like Randy keeps telling me to drop the middle-aged pervert nickname, or the mine just aren't as cool and as cute as you guys is. So I need a cool nickname. I'm trying to like be the Flava Flav of the group and get everybody hyped, that we have everybody on here. So hopefully I did a job with that. But Mike, it's an honor to have you back, man. I can't say enough to you how much I respect you as a musician and as just a person who has really pushed the music scene here. And I'm so sad that I never really had any before, like the show. I never really got to have any like real interactions with you outside of it. But I hope that we can change that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for the kind words and everything. I appreciate that. And my oldest brother's name is Cain, by the way, spelled the same way. And
Right.
we call him Cainic. Cainic is a good nickname. Just so you know.
Now,
The
Mike,
Caniac.
The Caniac. Oh, the Caniac's good. I like the Caniac.
I kind of like sugar cane.
Ooh, there you go, girl. Now you're dropping it. All right.
so all the
Oh, that's
old
killer.
degenerates that I used to work with, it always used to be cocaine, like
Oh yeah, cocaine. The co-workers called you cocaine. There you go.
course. I've been called a lot of things, as long as they call me something close to my name, that's good.
Yeah.
But Mike, so you're a junior though, actually. I mean, we kind of
Yep.
dove into that. Mike Senior is kind of not kind of, he's a music legend. I mean, he actually made it to the big time, so to speak, in some way, shape, or form, right? I mean, was it with Sun Records that he was?
Actually, no, he in 1968, in a way, it was with Sun Records. 1968, he recorded with Sam Phillips Kids. Sam Phillips, obviously, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee discovered Elvis. So, yeah. So, in 1968, he was on American Bandstand with a one-hit wonder.
Hey, I'd take
Yep.
that any day. I would take any hit wonder that I had.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And so that's got to be part of your, part of your background. You guys are a musical family, right?
Very much so. Very much so. Um, yeah, it's kind of it goes back. I mean, ever since I was obviously a baby. I don't remember anything else. But yeah, just picking up things and banging on pots and pans and making music, man. They had a hit in 68, 69 with a band called the Smoke Ring. A lot of folks know the Smoke Ring around Nebraska regionally. Um, yeah, it was incredible growing up with them and seeing kind of how they do it, put on events, hire a sound man, sell merch, the whole bit. I mean, they did it for 50 plus years. Now they're going back, you know, uh, sadly yesterday, one of the two remaining members died, Bob Hupp, who's a giant soul. I mean, back in 1960, had a band called the Strollers, and then the Strollers kind of became through melting with a band called Little Joe and the Ramrods in the early 60s. Little Joe was Bob Hupp's brother, and he kind of managed everything. And he was really good about booking shows and calling booking agents and working the deal. You know what I mean? And back then, it was a lot easier to work the deal. There wasn't a lot of rock and roll. So if you did it, if you even came close to having a dum chick, and then added a rock and roll rhythm over it, you were kick ass. And so, um, Little Joe and the Ramrods and the Smoke Ring combined, Little Joe and the Ramrods and the Strollers combined to be the Smoke Ring. And that happened kind of mid 60s. They started playing bigger ballrooms and huge festivities. And they kind of figured it out. They would hire a big celebrity name and like Rufus Thomas, for example, Walking the Dog, huge, Walking the Dog, big soul hit, right? Smoke Ring was soul music. And so they would do it right. For example, they would say, okay, Rufus, come to Nebraska. Our band will back you. All you got to do is show up with a guitar or just your voice, and we'll back you. And we'll pay you $500, let's say, right? So if you get 1,000 people in a ballroom like the Playmore, charge $2 a head. It was $2 a ticket, right? So imagine that. That's $2,000. You pay Rufus Thomas $500. The band keeps $1,500. That's a pretty damn good payday for the band, I would say. So they figured it out pretty early on. They would bring in these celebrity names, and one guy noticed their, what they were doing and how good they were at it, and invited them down to record with Sam Phillips in Memphis, and that's how it all happened. And so, they show up and they're a beer drinking, pot smoking band from Nebraska, and it's like, who are these guys? Jesus. And so they turned it up, and some crazy, insane stories. I mean, they were down there for probably a month working with those people. And Sam Phillips had just sold Elvis Presley not too long before that. And so he was a big drinker, and he still owned Sun Records, but he was a huge drunk. And one night I'm just talking on, I hope this is fine. But my father said, yeah, so Sam stumbled in at 4 a.m. That's when we would do our guitar tracks, and Dad was in there doing some guitar tracks real late at night, and Sam stumbled in. And this is the guy, that discovered Elvis Presley. I mean, this is like the big cheese. He was putting out all the big hits, Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee, you name it. And so he stumbled in and he looked my dad right in the eye, and his bright, just red water, just dripping out of his eyes, looked like a total drunk. And he goes, "You think I'm a damn fool, kid?" And my dad was like, "What are you talking about? No, sir, I don't." No, I mean, they were at Sam Phillips studio, which is a block away from the original Sun studios. And he goes, "No, sir, I don't think you're a damn fool at all. This is a beautiful place. This is amazing." You know, he didn't know what to say. And Sam said, "Well, everybody else thinks I'm a damn fool for selling Elvis Presley for $35,000." And my dad was like, just didn't know what to say, you know? And so what do you say when Sam Phillips, the god of rock and roll, you know, says that to you? And he goes, "No, Mr. Phillips, I don't even know how to respond." And he goes, "Well, let me tell you something, kid. I took that $35,000 and invested in something called Holiday Inn Hotels. Who's the damn fool now?" You know, and it was just these types of moments that are, you know, I'm sure they're in some book somewhere, but these are like firsthand accounts of interactions with him and with these people. And so every time, you know, I'd be around my dad and he has a couple beers in him, he'll spill another story, and these stories are just unbelievable. So, you know, I'm blessed with having that background of this is the business, you know, learn how to hustle, learn that it's about a game. The business is a game and that you play it and be very careful in that game because it can be a dangerous game, you know. And so so yeah, I was very blessed with that. And then on my mom's side, my mom's side of the family, my uncle toured with Johnny Cash in 1958. So if you go 10 years back before 68, where my dad had his success, my uncle was on the Grand Ole Opry with Johnny Cash. So, and that's another crazy story where Johnny rolled through Nebraska and my uncle just literally walked up to him and asked if he could play a song. And they loved him so much, they ended up taking him on the road, which at that time was the first time the Grand Ole Opry went on the road. And so, um, yeah, and that history is really interesting because he was down at the Golds Building for a record signing around that time. And I'm trying to piece together, I think I'm almost there, archiving when exactly Johnny Cash made that appearance because he was promoting Walk the Line and Folsom Prison had already been out. And so it's these crazy moments in time that envelop, you know, Nebraska enveloped these artists at that point, and it has to do with our people, like Bobby Lowell, genius rockabilly guy from Nebraska, one of the first people to do it. Arguably one of the first rock and roll records ever to be put out in Nebraska. You know, Bobby Lowell was early 50s, and so which the building still stands on O Street where he recorded. It's about 24th and O Street. So all these things are just brilliant. They're magical to me to kind of piece together how it all unfolded, and you know, but yeah, it in some way my family had a piece of it. So it's pretty incredible.
Well, the music industry obviously has changed quite a bit since your father
100%, for
and
sure.
now from you. So how have you adapted to those? Like, what have you learned and how to do all of that? Like, what, yeah, how have you adapted to change?
Sure. Well, the biggest thing would be in promotion. Um, you know, I learned early on that I had to make my own posters and then I had to figure out the internet. And at that time when I was young and doing it and moved to, you know, Chicago when I was 20 years old, you know, I realized quickly that there's something called the internet that is the catalyst for everything now, you know. And so I taught myself how to code on MySpace. Do you remember MySpace? So yeah, for those youngsters out there, it was a kind of like social media before social media. You know, it was the first version of social media, really. And you could like design your own page, but the way you did it was you got on the back end and you like hand coded HTML. And so for me, that was like a godsend. I was like, "What's this?" So I got really funky with that, and now my career now is I own a marketing company and I promote concerts, and so like I build websites for huge companies, and so that's what I do now. And so it's funny that me promoting myself turned into me promoting others. And it's funny, I always laugh about I can literally stand on a corner downtown Lincoln and point to 20 places I got fired from, you know, because I was such a mouth back when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, you know, because I was telling people what they were doing wrong with their business. I'm like, if you move the host stand over here, you'll have a track people could flock a lot easier, and if you sold drinks for X amount of dollars, maybe you'd make a little extra money, you know, stuff like that. I worked for Spaghetti Works of all things, and I'm like, the $2.99 deal is great, but they're not tipping the waiters, and you're screwing everybody. All your waiters are quitting, So I would tell these owners this type of stuff, unbeknownst that that was like out of line, right? But the hilarious part is that I get paid to do that now. I mean, that's what I do for a career now. So it's just funny. But I adapted to answer your question. I adapted to the modern industry in that way, figuring out new ways to promote my shows, innovative things, house shows, blah, 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 you know, that type of thing. But yeah, it has changed a lot over the years in that sense. Back then it was, you know, slip a joint and a little whiskey to a DJ and they'll play your music. So
Yeah, but that has changed, like the internet and all of that. I mean, now it's a good thing and a bad thing. But Randy too, I'm sure, like he had to do all the same stuff as well, right?
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, listen to Mike tell a story. It's like, we grew up during that time where honestly, to be successful, you had to beat the streets. Like my success always had to do with talking to people. You had to get into the people. And if you could create the buzz with the people, it didn't matter what you did, what you charged, as long as you had something going on and it was something they wanted, you could create it. And it's one of the saddest things I've said over time was, back in those days, I could get a $10 cover for some of my biggest events without trying and pack it with 200 to 400 people. And now they've gone to this. You had so many business, kind of like what Mike was talking about, ran things so badly that they had to resort to the free covers and the giveaways to get people in the door. But what they really did was cheapen out the business.
Mm-hmm.
They literally cheapened out the business. And I laughed when you said, uh, I don't know how many downtown places used to have the dance floor at the entry point. You'd walk into the place onto the dance floor and you'd be like, guys, this is a horrible setup.
Yeah.
If you moved it this way, people would actually come in.
Right.
It was a lot like that. It just like this free for all. But it did give me the opportunity always then to work with some great people in the radio industry and the music industry. And I felt like, if you were a good promoter and you did the things the right way, success was easy in this town. People really wanted great quality things. They just didn't know where to go most of the time. And so you really did have to beat the streets. And of course, I remember doing the coding in MySpace. Oh my God, I thought my life was so easy that I'd spend 2 hours sending stuff out to people.
Oh yeah. There's no algorithms to
no. And yeah, me and Cain talk about that all the time now too. What they do today is literally they now try to make money off of you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what you try to do, they try to nerf you and keep you from being successful without paying out the nose. So
out in the wild, there's one creature feared by hunters, admired by lumberjacks, and envied by hipsters.
Yeah, it's me, the elegant Sasquatch, and let me tell you, these locks don't tame themselves.
Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. Beard oils, butters, and washes so good, they'll make your face smell like you wrestled a cedar tree while sipping fine whiskey.
Last week, a hiker followed me for 3 miles just to ask what cologne I was wearing. Joke's on him. I don't wear cologne. I wear the gentleman.
Upgrade your beard game. Sophisticate your outer beast. Find the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company at elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com.
And stop stealing my jerky!
Well, something you said too that I think this is for all the bands in this town, and I hope this reverberates. I even had some people tell me, thanks for telling me that, because a lot of people contact me, and I'm not bragging by any means, and I never want to come off that way. I'm always, my whole thing is to help people. I help bands, I put out their records, I promote bands, and I do festivals. I only want to help other bands. That's all I do. And so a lot of people come to me and say, how do I get shows? And I said, well, how's your press kit? What's your press kit look like? And they're like, what the hell's a press kit? And so, okay, let's start at square one. And the biggest thing I've noticed is bands approaching clubs and saying, yeah, I'll play for $100. You know, don't do that. You are cheapening not only yourself and your product, but you're screwing everybody else in the community. It's literally a Blue Man Group painting. You know, when they do some bullshit and spit on it and the little sign flops down and it says $4,000 or $40,000 or whatever it is during their show. That's how much they're putting on their art. That's how much they're taught they want to sell their art for. And that's how much it's worth. So don't cheapen yourself by giving yourself a low price. And it's happened all over the place. Look at, I mean, Playmore Ballroom. I don't want to dog on them, but my God, back in the day, they were paying bands $3,000-$4,000 to get in that place. And granted, drinking's not what it used to be. I understand clubs are not making as much money, but the bands out there are playing for peanuts now. And so when you do that, you're cheapening everybody else because they'll say, "Oh, so and so played for $300." Well, every club is going to hear about that. They're going to talk to say how much you making over there, and they're going to find out from other clubs how much you paying bands, and they're going to start offering $300 shows for everybody. And it drives me nuts as a promoter and a label owner and being in multiple bands to see that happen. And that's like the biggest downfall of the music scene when you can cheapen the cost of your product.
Well, there's a lot of things to it, because I can think about my journey as a musician, and I was a lot like you and Randy. I'm kind of like both edges of that. I was very business minded all the time, which I think you have to be your biggest fan. If you believe in yourself, people are going to believe in you. You're right, but then you have to be good also. I used to cheapen myself as the bands. I'd be in 3 pieces, 5 pieces, whatever, and I would be one of those bands we just wanted to play. But then as we got better, right, the price goes up. You start really seeing how things go. But it's interesting what you're saying, because it's all these venues, a lot of these bands aren't really trying that hard. Like, I recently talked to a band. I was going to try to have them on the show, for example, and they're like, "Oh, we're just not interested. And we love the show, but we don't have the time." It's like it's an hour. It's like, don't you want the free promotion and have people get to know you? To me, that's a red flag. And I'm not going to mention who they are. I'll keep it to myself. But I think that that's ridiculous. I would have given anything for somebody to talk to about me and my band, right? And I clap my hands, stomp my feet. I did tires. I did everything that you do, Mike. And that's what you need to do. So this is kind of a lesson, all you young musicians listening, is get off your butt, put in the work. It's more than just music. Unfortunately, they call it the music business for a reason. It's a business, so go into business for yourself, and you're going to be doing a great job.
Yeah, Randy said, earlier, it's like hitting the streets, man. Any promo is good promo for sure. So, yeah, and it's like even with my concert productions and the festivals I do and stuff like that, there's just different avenues. You try now. It's all about networking. If you get sponsors, like say, hey, how can we cross promote? With radio stations, Froggy or KZUM, like how can we leverage each other's crowds and grow it together? And that's such a huge thing to do. And Lincoln specifically, Lincoln's all about scratching each other's backs, and they have been for hundreds of years. I mean, that's Lincoln, more so I'd say than Omaha. Omaha's more vast and spread out, and it's less of that big city, little town vibe that Lincoln has, and so you really have to lean into your partners for sure.
So you are like the mic drop of all trades. See what I did there? What's the most important or meaningful part, like of all the things that you do in your career? What is the most important and meaningful that you think back in the day you didn't really understand or know, and now today say, hey, this is the most important thing that I want people to know, or what you do personally in your career?
I would probably say the Hall of Fame, just because I'm carrying the torch for my father, who started it in 1994 with a guy named Butch Berman. Butch Berman started Jazz in June, and he would have these amazing record listing parties that, you know, they'd fill a hookah full of weed and just let everybody have fun. And it was just incredible. Berman came from a lot of money. His parents owned a department store downtown, and he was in a bunch of killer bands back in the day. I mean, you name it. I even found out yesterday he was in the Dorothy Lynch Mob, which was part of slipping my mind at the moment. It's part of um, Charlie Burton and the Dorothy Lynch Mob. So he was in that for a short bit too. But Berman was amazing. I mean, the carrying the history and figuring out a way to have a physical Hall of Fame is probably on my plate to do. And we're close. We have an avenue now to possibly by 2027 have a physical Hall of Fame in a building downtown. So you know, carrying the torch, making the knowledge known and out there and available of the history that came before us, and some of these bands that put in the time, like Kim Fossil, who he's talking earlier. I mean, these are monster players. They're just unbelievable, and people don't know who they are. I mean, Stevie Wonder's songwriter lives in Omaha, and he's not inducted in the Hall of Fame yet. So, I mean, you've got some of these incredible people that came from Nebraska. Randy Meisner from is it North Platte, like Western Nebraska. I mean, he was the Eagles, you know, he was in the original lineup of the Eagles. And so these types of things, I want to bring light to. I want to induct them into the Hall of Fame and bring their families and friends together for one last hurrah and watch them play. There's no feeling, honestly, there's no feeling in the world like seeing that. Like when they get together with their friends and they sweep all the drama and the bullshit under the rug, and they're just getting back together with their friends and family and playing like they used to play. It's truly beautiful, and I just it kills me every time. And there's I do want to mention there was another project I might do. There was a book in 1984 that was put out by um, uh, a guy named Bart Becker. Bart Becker was kind of the El Kent Walgamont before El Kent, and he put out a book called Till the Cows Come Home. And I've got a copy of it here. I have two copies, and I'll show the video, but it's a beautiful book cover with Sparkle Moore on the front, which is hilarious. Sparkle Moore was a really incredible rockabilly artist from Nebraska that went on for, you know, she had national attention as well. But in this book, this is the full history of Nebraska bands from like the 1910, 1920 to 1984. And so I hunted down Bart Becker and I called him and I said, I would love to figure out a way to put out a second volume of this. And, you know, and he knew of me. He knows my dad. My dad wrote the foreword to it. But that might be on the plate to do if I can find some grant money to help. But we could do 1984 to the present and talk about the history of these bands, because there's so much. Randy knows this. There's so many bands that just haven't been given the due diligence and, you know, any kind of nod or credit over the years that used to pack clubs like Guitars and Cadillacs or Playmore Ballroom back in the day, or, you know, you name it. There's a million beautiful clubs that have since closed, you know, the Drumstick being one of them. So the history is so thick in our state, and I just want people to know that, you know. So
How's the process though to be able to get to be in the Hall of Fame? Like, is it just a bunch of guys like sitting around like, hey, I like these guys, or these guys haven't fit? Is there like, what is that process?
yeah,
I'm
thank you for asking. So we do have a board. So there's a board that discusses it, and it kind of, you know, kicks around ideas. My father's not on the board, but he's still alive, and he's kind of a consultant and historian, and he knows a lot of how that process works, and he also gives a vote and, you know, nods and says yes, they're valid. But honestly, it's really about the people. The real way, you know, before anybody adjudicates them as a valid source to be inducted, you know, you can write in on the website. There's on nebraskaperformingarts.com, there's a section where you can write in and tell us about who you think should be inducted. And I wish that would happen more. people call me. For example, I had a bunch of calls about the like Raw Nerve and Rock and Fossils last year, and everybody said, "Hey, this is a valid band. They've been together for X amount of years, and they've played this amount of shows." I mean, we just inducted a band called Blackberry Winter, November 7th, the week before our big 15th induction. Blackberry Winter, I've been hearing about for years. I mean, still an active band in Kearney. They've been together for 5 decades, and nobody knows a lot about them. But if you go back to the 70s and listen to Blackberry Winter's music, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. They had a really cool career in Los Angeles with a guy named Randy Sharp. And funny enough, Randy Sharp, I find out, I didn't know at the time, he's related to Ash Sharp, who plays bass in my band. And so it's just all these mind-blowing things like this. And so you start getting calls and people whisper and they start chitter-chatter. Man, I have a lot of people mention to me in passing, like, "Oh, you should induct so-and-so," and blah, blah, blah. And so we just kind of get hints like that, and then we kind of look into it and adjudicate. So,
well, Mike, if you don't mind me bringing up, last year, my cousin passed away, DA, and
sure.
of course you got him inducted just in time. And what a kind of a moment that was. Just like, talk about somebody that has kind of touched on the talent in this area for quite a while. And I really got to say that night at the Rococo where we did the kind of little tribute for him and all you guys performed, that was really unbelievable, to be honest with you. I was blown away and just appreciate you guys so much for what you did.
Thank you, man. Yeah, DA, I was shocked to hear you were related to him when we first met. Because DA was so tied into so many people, that guy was like the epicenter. I mean, he was like me too. Some people don't like me. That's fine. I do so much stuff. People have their opinions about me. I'm totally fine with that. When as a doer in the community, you're always going to get someone shit on you. That's just how it is. And DA was that way. He was a strong figure, very opinionated. Some people didn't like him, but the ones that he liked and the ones that liked him, they were really close with him. And he held those people really dear. And he was a titan. My God. I mean, Pinnacle Bank Arena, Pershing Auditorium. He ran those 2 places. You name it. CMT.
Pinewood Bowl, yeah.
Pinewood Bowl started that. Country Music Television. He was at the beginning of that. Garth Brooks, Dave Matthews. He was on the road with all these bands, the Judds. I mean, you name it. It's his history is outrageously cool, and so that's what gravitated me towards him. And I was really fond of that guy. For
of course,
that
I was fortunate enough being a kid. It was a big deal to go see his band play. That's how that's
God. In his spandex.
Yeah, and I probably literally one of my first memories of really what live music was about. Because mom would let me go. So
wow, man.
And I always love my conversations with Donnie. Like it always blew me away. And to me, he still was always the same guy.
Yeah.
Like you said, love him or hate him, but man, I was always so appreciative of just the insight he always gave me on things. And I'm a little at loss for words just because I'm just getting a little overwhelmed with a little emotion thinking back to just kind of how kind of in some ways how unfortunate we kind of going through COVID. He is all that, but he did his best to say goodbye to the people that mattered. I guess that's maybe how I want to say it. And
his
like you
YouTube
said,
channel is one big goodbye. His YouTube channel is like crazy. Like, yeah, it's much love to you, man, and much love. I saw your mom the other night at JP's funeral, actually, and JP was a titan too. He was a incredible Sandy Creek band. I mean, my God, and then Sandy Creek Pickers, and the bluegrass and the history of the roots music within that guy's family, the Paul brothers, and and all those guys. I just love them so much. And I met all those guys through DA, you know. And so you find yourself in these little pockets of friends, and it just illuminates your whole life, you know, because you're like, oh, all the pieces are starting to align, all the dots are starting to connect. I get why you did this and you did that. Oh, that makes, you know, and it's just mind blowing
It
because it's
is.
all right in front of you. It's like, oh, that's why we had so many cool fucking things, is because of this. Awesome. Okay. So
And you hit on it because, you know, this is what we talk about. We have a lot of great talent in this area.
yeah,
And it's why I think it's really important that you do keep moving forward on that history and that second volume, because I think, I mean, me and you sat down the one day and we talked for 3 hours and barely,
oh,
like, literally scratched just that little
yeah.
surface of it.
I was
And
your quado for like 3 hours.
oh man, but
Stuck to his chest. I was like, oh man, you're awesome. What are you all about? I love you. I
you know,
couldn't get away from him.
and you go, you know, there's so many good things. I, there are so many good things and good people that do promote in this town, and but see, the good ones, they keep, you know, they do keep it under wraps a little bit, like you don't notice, or they make it look easy, right? You show
Mm,
up, you talk to people, like, yeah, we're gonna that, you know, and I I really love the direction everything's going. I'm super excited that you've been working on that, and I can't wait to hopefully, maybe like you said, maybe here in a couple of years, have a physical Hall of
mm,
Fame and start
absolutely.
really highlighting some of the history this town has.
Thank you, brother. That means the world. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's definitely that for sure. Keeping things under wraps.
What do we have to do to get this started? Is it there's already stuff in
Yeah.
progress? And I mean, do we
Yeah.
have do we donate? Is it
Yeah. Donating is huge, guys, because I mean, we just supplied a ton of gear for Harry Dingman's music studio here in town. Harry played in Four Against, and he was in the Millions, but he's also a really well respected music teacher here in town and an artist
We
as
had
well.
Harry on the show.
Oh, really, man?
We've
Oh,
talked to
that's
Harry.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I can't wait to listen to that. He's just a beautiful person, and I've really got to know him through these last couple of years of inducting some of his bands finally, and so we bought a ton of music gear for his, and we'll continue to buy music gear for some of his studio. But to answer your question about how to do this, it's going to take dollars, and I'm working on that through the nonprofit, which Nebraska Performing Arts is a 501c3, and you can go to that website and make a donation, and any dollar that comes that way will either be used locally for a kid's educational purpose, or to a $700,000 kiosk that I'd love to have in the Hall of Fame, where you can walk up and put Benji Kushner's name in, or you know, or Harry Dingman's name, and all their music comes up and their history and their pictures come up. And um, the Hall of Fame in Iowa is really cool. It's at Lake Okoboji, and they have about 7 kiosks that you can walk up to, and they do all different things. And my father helped consult on that project, but it's gorgeous Hall of Fame. And they have glass cases with costumes and um, Everly Brothers stuff and Rumbles and Smoke Ring and, you know, and all these great, just beautiful pieces of, you know, instrumentation and, you know, little knickknacks, posters and stuff like that. It's just beautiful. So that's my goal, is to have a place like that.
Well, I actually took some lessons from Harry after we you
Oh,
know, just
cool.
it's always good to go to these like Jedi bastards, you know,
Yeah.
and brush up on like what am I missing? What am I not connecting? And then
Yeah.
another guy that I took lessons from who helped me really push me with my lead guitar is Mike McCracken, who I know you know
Oh,
really well. Oh, he's the best, isn't he?
oh, that guy is spicy. He is incredible, man. Yeah, he plays in the Bottle Tops from time to time still, but he did a lot a few years ago, when we got to open for Willie Nelson and Neil Young. He was on that show with us, and and fought the pipeline, helped raise a bunch of money to stop the pipeline that runs through Nebraska. We raised about $800,000 that day, and so yeah, Mike's incredible, man. He's one of the guys. You know, he's somebody that, pick his brain for sure, man, because he's the real deal. So yeah.
He only lives like a stone's throw away from me. Like I was just
Oh,
over
cool.
at his place the other day and I was looking at some pedals of his and I get to try some of these things that he has. And he really is. He's just one of those good guys, a blast to talk to. He's plump full of music knowledge, and he's awesome, which is my segue into your current music right now. I know you played with Mike and everything. Let's talk about these bands while we have a chance. I mean, you're in some monster bands. I've seen the Bottle Tops play. I just can't believe I've never actually come up and talked to you. Maybe I was afraid, like
Oh man.
Outer Fringe. Ooh.
That's, oh, you're so nice, dude. I appreciate those kind words a lot. Yeah. Man, we have a lot of fun. I mean, that's just what we do, it's not about ego, it's not about pretentiousness. We'll do stuff on stage that's ridiculous, and it's like, mm, I don't know. It could ruin someone else's career. No, but we just have a lot of fun, man. And the Bottle Tops is my wife and I, and that's like more honky tonk bluegrass kind of stuff. And we're working on a new record. We've been pushing to put something out probably this winter. I want to put something out and possibly in the spring for the next year. So that's the goal. We went down to record at Sun Studios. We put out a little EP that we did down at Sun Studios in that room, which was crazy. That was so cool. Walked in there and the guy's like, you guys want to stick around and record later? And I was like, what? And got to use like Scotty Moore's guitar, and Jesus, it was just bizarre. It was bizarre. And so that was cool. And then my other band, the Riverhawks, is kind of soul music. I kind of took a little inspiration from the Smoke Ring, and we do a lot of the 50s, 60s soul, and we just put out a new record called Happiness that came out last year. And so that's a really fun record. That's on Spotify and all the outlets. But yeah, man, it's just all about surrounding yourself with good people and bringing that vibe to these small towns around Nebraska and Kansas, Iowa. We'll play regionally, but we just have a really good time, and we like to bring that vibe wherever we go. I just recently started a rockabilly band called the Nitro Bats, and we've been getting out there and doing some stuff too. We're actually playing this Saturday in Fremont at that new club called Southern Style. They just opened a new club in Fremont, so I'm excited about that because that's my hometown. I grew up in Lincoln, but my father lived there. So and the Semrad name goes back 200 years in Fremont. So I love Fremont. Fremont's a great place.
So I know your dad is a huge inspiration to you.
Indeed, for sure.
Yes. And to all of us, actually, and many musicians. Would you like to say something to him to kind of
Oh, that's very nice of you. Yeah. Yeah. Dad, stop posting stupid shit on Facebook.
Okay, that was
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding, but I'm trying to be sentimental here. He gets on there. He's got my same name. It drives me crazy. But no, he's a great guy. He's a fun guy, and a lot of people really love him. And he is an anthology of Nebraska music. If you ask him anything to do with rock and roll from 1950 to probably 1970, he could tell you everything about it. He started playing country from 70 to 78, 79. And so he kind of missed all this like Zeppelin and all the great 70s rock bands and all that. He kind of missed that. But then he came back to it in the 80s and started a band called The Mob. And they were pretty popular around the area. And then the Smoke Ring started playing around the 90s again. So, but no, he's a fun guy. He gets himself into, he's a rascal for sure. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Starts drinking.
we love
he gets pretty fun.
pretty rowdy. Sounds like my kind of guy.
Pretty rowdy. But I will say that he had a reunion show for his band, Jay Harrison B and the Bumbles. And my dad's almost 80. I think he turns 80 here soon. And it's crazy. He had this gig in Fremont, and they played all the members, the original member showed up. They're all 80. They're all from that era. They played for 6 hours. No breaks. I mean, they took a minor break at one point, but he stayed his ass on stage, and it was unbelievable. People walk up on stage and talk to him. It was crazy. 6 hours. I did the sound for it, and I was exhausted by hour 3. And I was
Yeah,
like,
did you hear that? All these musicians, they get, "Oh, I can only do an hour and I need a break. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's okay, come on now.
yeah,
Your dad is he's the
yeah.
king."
Well, maybe that's the key, guys. Play every show like it's your last show, and you'll never complain. I mean, 6 hours, I couldn't believe it. So, yeah. So he's still rocking and rolling, man. They sounded great too. They sounded wonderful.
Well, Mike, this is kind of always what happens. Like it takes no time at all for us just to get talking, and an hour goes by like nothing.
Crazy.
And I hope you understand that we want to talk to you anytime we need to talk to you. Like
Awesome.
if anything that's important in the music world, the things that we need to help you get out, we want to do it. We want to do what little scratch the vinyl part we can. We hope, we tried our best to help promote the Keenan Eats Truck
Yeah, it worked. It was
Festival.
good. Yeah,
Even if we got 5 people there, I hope it was 5 people more to enjoy what you guys were doing.
for sure.
And because I think it just goes underappreciated, a lot of hard work that people like you that go out there and try to make things happen. Because if you don't, nobody does. And
Mhm.
I said it for so many years that people are just dying for good things to happen here in Lincoln, and it always
Yeah,
seemed like if they did, it worked. And
yeah,
we
yeah,
we see things like Jazz Fest or the zoo, all those things, just
sure.
Star City Parade, all the things that just would happen in this town that gave us a little bit of joy and pride or whatever.
Yeah. You
We
mentioned
need.
Star City. Boy, the city really wants me to do a Christmas parade.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, shit. I really wanna do it too because I just love the idea of having Santa Claus come and be a part of the kids' lives at that age." It's like, "Gosh darn it, why can't we do that?"
We used to
So,
perform that in our high school. I could get my old band uniform or my dance
yeah,
uniform, and
let's go. Let's
let's
go.
get all the alumni. Oh, it'd be great.
I
If your
know.
dad can do it, I can do it.
I know. I wanna do it around the Capitol like they do the Gay Pride and Veterans Parade, I think also goes around the Capitol. I think that'd be a great idea because everybody can kinda just stay huddled together. I think the problem with the Christmas parade before is it went down O Street, and
Right.
so they had to shut down a major highway, and it was kind of a pain in the ass for all the people involved because of the floats every year and the storage, and people just kinda got disenchanted with it, so but I really, really wanna bring it back someday. I think that would be super fun, but that'd be a huge undertaking, but yeah, like you said, man, I mean, look at all the like, Rib Fest is gone, like, July Jam is gone, all these beautiful things. So, just trying to keep Lincoln cool, and you guys are doing it. I gotta tell you, this show is I'm so impressed with this show, and I'm sad to say I didn't realize how cool it was before I was on it the first time, and then I've been going back listening to
We don't
episodes.
think we're very cool most of the time either.
Well,
So
that's why you're cool. It's because you don't think you're cool.
It was a
Yeah,
lot cooler after you were on, right?
Oh, no, 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 no,
well,
no.
I think you relate to this, Mike. It's just that when you find something you're passionate about or you want to just be involved, you just do what you do. And it's more than anybody else is doing. And there's no right or wrong here. All we really want to do is highlight great talent in our area. We want people to enjoy live music. We have a love for vinyl music.
Mm,
It's hard to, I don't know. I don't run into a lot of people that go, man, I really hate that.
yeah, yeah, how could you hate Randy? Seriously, how could you
So
hate Brooke? It's like, what? No.
yeah. No, we send people to Kelly's just for therapy with Brooke. I mean, I feel like we save a lot of people from PTSD. We just send them over to Brooke and she'll have them giggling in no time.
That's
I'm
wonderful,
I'm
man.
very awkward, and then we just all laugh and just have a great
All
time.
3 of you are just beautiful people, and I love seeing stuff like this locally. It's like, "Yes, go. Yes, please."
And
It's so
Mike, it's
good.
crazy that the broad reach we're getting from around a lot of areas,
Good.
listening about local music. Like,
Yeah, no, that's
but I
great.
but I but I think they tap into it. They'll
Mhm.
go to the Spotify. They'll listen to the music that we're promoting that week or the artists we're promoting. And even if just one more person listens to one more track and goes, wow, they're really good.
Yeah.
And I'm always blown away every time we talk to new guests and bring in new people from different areas that I didn't know about or we're just learning about. And then you listen, you're like, man, why didn't I find these guys 10 years ago or something?
Yeah. Right.
And it's just there is so much out there. So I'm gonna kind of try to wrap up with the idea that you guys go to the performing arts page. If you got a band that needs to get in the Hall of Fame, get in there and write a bio and get the info out. Make it happen for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that we can do to support, the local scene, the Hall of Fame. $5, man. $5. Everybody puts in $5. Let's sustain this thing for a long period of time and keep that knowledge alive. And I'm just going to wrap up. Mike, thanks for everything you do, buddy.
Thanks, man. And you mentioned local music. I just want to say one more project that I might be on the precipice of that I'm so excited about. A lot of bands complain about Spotify not getting their residuals and how shitty they are to artists, and I fully believe it. I'm 100% on board that it's not great. It needs to be reformed. However, a lot of businesses I've talked to, I've said, hey, what do you play in here? What do you play? Because their asses get busted for ASCAP and BMI and all that CSAC crap. And a lot of companies can't pay it. And so they either don't have any music or they have some stuff that's, no rights or whatever. So I want to create a local radio station, not radio station, but more of like a streaming element where people can, subscribe to it and the money actually goes to the artists who are involved in it. And it's like 100%, like no one else touches it. All the money, because I know huge organizations, big companies that pay $2,000-$3,000 a year to have Spotify and ASCAP and all this crap in their halls and of their business. And so I want to get and Lincoln's actually talking about this for their art district downtown. They want to have music played through the streets. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but they want to have local music constantly playing. So that could be a client of this thing, and they could play all the music that's submitted to it. So that's in the works I'm putting that together. So that'll really be great.
Mike, we love your insight on all of these things. Like you have so much knowledge, and now you are part of the Scratch the Vinyl family since you now have a nickname, Mike Drop of all trades. And we are so happy to have you here. And be aware, I might be Facebook stalking you and maybe asking for some advice.
Please do. Thank you.
And we're just so thrilled to have you on. I'm going to close with something that I took from your social media that I thought kind of sums you up perfectly. It says, we are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams. And I can't think of a better way to describe a man like yourself and what you're doing. And thank you so much. So Scratch the Vinyl fans, all you Scratchaholics out there, Scratchamania is running so wild right now. You guys need to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and by God, listen to vinyl. Listen to this episode and just give yourself a big hug. And I want you guys to tune in. We'll catch you on the flip side, and we'll see you every week here on
Scratch the Vinyl.
Oh, man, what a amazing interview that was. It was a blast talking to Mike Semrad and diving into some of that history. And it was just so refreshing to have him on. So I'll just, good good booking on our part, right? Great musician, great stuff. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Now let's enjoy the sponsors that keep the lights on and keep things going. So first off, let's talk about Roots Music Shop. That's right. It is the best music shop around, everybody. I keep telling you, I've been going there since its inception, and it is the best place in the world. I think because I bought all my instruments from there, I'm literally at world tour level at this point, and it's all because of all of the upgrades and all the great things that Ryan has done for me. So go to Roots Music Shop and entertain your inner rock star now. Also, we have Jason Dugash from American Senior Benefits. Jason, oh my gosh, it's not goulash, Dugash. Ask for him, call American Senior Benefits, and ask for Jason DeGosh, and he is going to be hooking you up with the plan that fits you the best. He is the man with the plan, and he is going to make it happen for you. So do not be afraid to call them. Call American Senior Benefits, and once again, get a hold of the man, Jason DeGosh. We have Backtrack Records. Backtrack Records is my favorite record store in town. And I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor. I would go there anyway because they're open early. They're open on Mondays. They have the sweetest racks to dig through. They have all the sweet, dollar bins, $2 bins. They have all that stuff. And you guys know that I'm a dollar billionaire, so to speak. And I am diving through those records and I am rifling through it like it's nobody's business. Like Speedy Gonzalez, I'm shoving people out of the way like it's grandma's estate sale. I love it. So go to Backtrack Records, and I challenge you, yes, you, Lincoln, to get to Backtrack Records and buy those records before I do. I swear to you, if I hit the lottery or if my old lady allows me to, I will donate as many organs as I can, and then I will take that money and I will buy as many records as possible. So go to Backtrack Records, everybody. It is the best. Where is it at? It is literally right there in the same strip as Let's Talk Bowling. So go there, check it out. Northeast Lincoln, you know what's up. Last but not least, I want to mention Kelly's Pub, of course. Kelly's Pub is always an unofficial sponsor. They're always for us. They let us do so many things there, and you can actually go there and interact and hang out with Brooke. You can play Keno, you can do all those cool things, and you can get to know Brooke on a personal level. You can talk her ear off while she's slinging drinks to you. So go over to Kelly's Pub. And then we have Madsen's Bowling and Billiards. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards has been a staple in this town for far too long, everybody. Probably since the town began and people began bowling. I'm talking the beginning of time here. You all know it. You go there to play pool. You go there to bowl, to eat some of the best food in town. I've been told their wings and their burgers are out of this world. I heard when talking to Brooke about the alien ship that's coming, that the first thing that they said when they sent a radio signal was, we need to try the wings at Madsen's. Where's Madsen's? So I'm just suggesting to you guys, please go to Madsen's before the aliens get here. And you don't want to be the ones to miss this, everybody. So Madsen's is where it's at. They have everything going on there. They have karaoke, they have pool, they have bands. They have everything under the sun in this place, and it is still a blast to go to. And the new owners, Sarah and Brady, they breathe new life into it, and it is just fantastic. So same family, same warm, fuzzy feelings, but best experience you'll ever have. So go to Madsen's, everybody. Tell all of our sponsors, if you talk to them or you see them or you go there, whatever, tell them that Scratch the Vinyl sent you. And thank you guys for listening. All you Scratchaholics out there, let's scratch our way into the next episode. We'll catch you on the flip side next week.